I will link everything down below. If I gloss over something, don't worry, I got you. It's down in the comment box. Just open that baby up. Holiday time, ooh, 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 ooh. Numero uno. And this is coming from something that I received personally as a gift during my bridal shower. I had so many beautiful memories and gifts from that time period where I got to see friends and family and all my loved ones come together and celebrate the union of Ben and I. There's no good like Ben and Diana mashup name. Our last names also don't mesh that well. His, which is Grzynia, it sounds like both a sneeze and a Slavic flower, you know, beautiful, but a lot of consonants. And then Chu is a monosyllabic, like very Chinese name that it just doesn't balance out. So I kept my maiden name actually. Fun fact. I was getting to the fact that my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law were so kind as to orchestrate not only a lovely bridal shower, but a gift in the form of a recipe card book. They sent out a general ask to all my family and friends without me knowing, pre-printed recipe cards, and they asked them all to write down recipes for me that either were in the family or they knew that would bring us comfort and love and fill our home with great yummy memories. And so I have this in a binder with my cookbooks and it's one of my most cherished like items. So I would recommend doing the same. It doesn't have to be a handwritten thing or something too orchestrated because that can get a little messy too if you want it to all kind of jive. People can send in an email to you or even tear-outs from their favorite magazine. It could be old recipes or if you have a theme for like just new recipes, things we all want to try out. It depends on who you're giving it to. Is it someone who loves sweets like me? Is it someone who is a new cook in the kitchen and more meal preppy things? Like you have to gauge who you're giving this to obviously, but I think a recipe card book of some kind is a wonderful way to give someone the gift that literally keeps on giving and they'll probably use for not just this year, but many more years to come. My second would be a Kindle, and I wanted to put this up front because even if you don't make it to the end of this video, and if you are interested in shopping Black Friday deals, I think a Kindle is the way to go. But the Kindle Paperwhite, the most basic one, has been a dream. They've made really good advancements since the launch of the first generation. Now everything is kind of waterproof. I've literally read in tiny bathtubs in Japan with my Kindle, with it all steaming up in the bathroom, getting water droplets everywhere, and I've still been really happy with it. I've been in Miami beaches with my Kindle and also foolproof. I love that I can read at night when my husband is also in bed but sleeping and we have the lights out and I'm reading in bed and, you know, trying to get my mind to sleep a little bit with a bedtime story. That's been really nice because I have been pretty active with my public libraries here and reading a lot of finance books, personal finance books. I'll get into that later, but it has been nice just to have one device. I know you can get fancy covers and different designs and things to protect, and like it's all in that realm of like the iPad where there's something that like when you close it, it magnetically shuts it off and all that. I don't think you need that. I think it's pretty foolproof already, kind of knock proof, and I've been able to fit the smaller one in my purses and I've loved traveling with it. So I really, really recommend that even if you're thinking of giving it to someone who loves physical books. I was that person. I still am that person. I still can't get away from that magic, the slow gaze-ness of it, right? Like whenever you are turning a page, I totally understand why it'd be very hard to let go of that physical sensation and the calibration of actually going through a book and seeing your progress through physical weight and physical, you know, amounts of pages on one side or the other, the cracking of the spine, the smell of the page. Like there's so much I understand, but I really haven't looked back since I got the Kindle, and any physical book that I welcome into my life is going to be a coffee table book. I'm an artist behind the scenes. I am an art director outside of YouTube, so a lot of books I rely on have photography or art related things that simply you cannot compare to on the screen. Cookbooks as well, I'm happy to invest in those, but I've basically decluttered maybe 90% of my books. My husband and I one day just decided to do this, and we've only allowed one bookshelf in our house to remain. My house does not need to become a library. It can have some personal things that I am always referencing, but honestly, if I want to support my local libraries more, this is one step closer to that. And then the Kindle is kind of my extension. If you follow me here on this channel, you know that I have started off pretty much just a purely beauty related channel. I knew that if I wanted to start something on YouTube and get a little traction, it was helpful to put YouTube videos up that would be specific to one product, because people would be searching for that product and they'd hopefully find my videos through a review. And I still love shopping beauty products, but if you haven't tried Credo.com, they're lauded, or they're self-proclaimed as the largest clean beauty online shop that exists in the world right now. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what metrics they're using. Anyone can claim anything, just about anything these days. I know the detox market is really great, so is Folane.com, and Black and Green is a great artisan marketplace for people of color, and especially Black and brown producers, creators, and artisans. But my favorite is Credo. I think their user experience is wonderful. Their selection is actually pretty up there, and I think it was created by a few people who used to work in the higher up ranks of Sephora, and they kind of understand what it means to be a good cosmetic selling site. But everything is clean, non-toxic, or at least very transparent with their ingredients. They're also trying to be more inclusive. I know that they have curated collections of just POC owned brands. They're trying. So I would suggest a Credo.com gift card. Sometimes you just gotta go that route. Still, if you are looking into shopping or shopping sites and you don't know where to start, I think obviously Etsy is a good place, Society6, those are all kind of your friendly neighborhood artists who are trying to be their own little indie brand. You can support grassroots artists. If you want to take one more step towards maybe zero waste, minimalist, sustainable lifestyles, and you're really environment conscious, these next two ideas are for you. The first is earthhero.com. I don't know where these websites are hiding in the mainstream. So Earth Hero is one of those places where everything is eco-friendly. That is their tagline. They try to inform you and educate you with why these products on their site are a little more eco-friendly than maybe other choices. Obviously, every single shopping decision you make is going to impact the environment. I kind of don't love the zero waste movement because it really sounds like there's no impact. And yes, there might not be waste in that it does get recycled or refurbished or it goes back into the land, but humans are tricky and humans are always trying to tag something and label something and make it just so cut and dry, when actually a lot of these things, like even if you're buying something that's stainless steel or bamboo, it took a lot to get that thing into that shape and form and get it to you. So there's so much that we don't really know, and buying something online is gonna be way more convenient than we realize, right? Like the convenient factor is what we're paying for, and all of the messy behind the scenes stuff is something that we'd all happily kind of turn a blind eye to. Not going to devolve into a raven rant here. I'm just saying that earthhero.com is a great place to start to get acquainted with some products and brands that maybe you don't know of. There are tons of things. There are tons of things that you could buy from the site that may or may not help your life be a little bit better, or be a perfect gift for someone who's looking to increase their awareness of eco-friendliness through consumerist habits. I will say that they have a lot of stuff on there, so take this with a grain of salt. It's very easy to suddenly feel the need to buy everything off the site and switch out all the things in your kitchen that are maybe less eco-friendly. Don't do it. Don't do it until you know what your lifestyle is and really recognize what you need. Same goes for gifting, especially with gifting. It's very easy to be like, yes, this person's going to use all the bees wraps in the world and an avocado keeper and all these bento boxes and whatnot, but these are all very personal preferences. You're basically imposing a different lifestyle if you're choosing to buy something that maybe shifts their daily routine or the way that they're using their kitchen products. So it's a fine line. It's just worth a look at. I think you should start there if this is kind of your jam. My second, very eco-friendly, and I would argue probably way more eco-friendly than anything else that I would recommend in this video. I'm personally going to be gifting a lot of this year. Take a little surf over to TerraPass.com. You can buy individual carbon neutral offset bundles. Basically, you can pay to offset a carbon footprint that you can calculate and use that either as a gift for someone or try to carbon neutralize your own footprint. If you don't really know what that means, basically everything that we do, like I said, purchase, consume, use, anything that we come in contact with somewhere along the supply chain or the process of us traveling to buy that thing or what have you, there is an environmental impact. You can read more about it on their website. You can buy subscriptions to carbon offsets. You can buy clean water certificates or support renewable energy sources on this website. And even if you're a small business owner, I think this is something to look into because you can buy individual passes or I guess offsets as well as business scale offsets. So it's really exciting. I haven't really dug into it as much maybe as I should, but I'm very interested and I think I'm going to definitely dive in for this holiday season and beyond. I would love to do this as my monthly, yearly, daily kind of help to Mother Earth. Okay, let's get back into a couple of more physical things. This is something to dog ear for Black Friday. It is a 23andMe kit. I know a lot of people have done this. I personally haven't because I think that I'm just 100% Chinese stock, but it might be fun to trace it out and see if I can connect with maybe relatives that I didn't know I had, or just have a little bit more insight into my genetics. It's just kind of fun. This is something that I would never really want to spend money on myself, but if someone gave it to me, I'd be like, this is wonderful. I'm gonna do this right away. Swab my little DNA, send it out. If that freaks you out, especially during COVID times, I totally understand. I know that there are ones for your pets too, especially if you have a friend that is a dog lover or a furry baby, mama or pop. If they have a mutt or a mixed dog, you can always send them a kit that they can test their own pets. So check it out. I know that on Black Friday, it usually goes down in price significantly, so I would stock up then. If you've been watching my channel, you probably know that I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the great Midwest. Let me tell you a short story about my time in Wisconsin. I ended up here for a job right after college, in Madison actually, and what brought me back here was my husband's family, and he has a lot of roots here, so I don't have a lot of ties to Wisconsin. I've basically grown my deep affection for this state in my late 20s and now into my 30s. I never really understood the drinking culture here until I moved here. I wasn't a beer lover. I have certainly changed that status. My story goes that when I was working at an apparel company here, I had a friend and a coworker who sat right next to me, and he was an avid drinker, a very friendly beer enthusiast who told me when he went down to Tijuana for his spring break, like most college kids do or hope to do, he and his friends wanted to enter a keg drinking contest. He showed his ID, did a little flash, and they were like, sorry, we can't allow Wisconsinites here. This is the only type of ID we don't accept because you guys usually win. You guys usually drink everyone else under the table, and I don't know how true that story is, but I'm not one to question it now that I've lived here long enough to see that culture alive and well. So I'm not here to say that, you know, all Wisconsinites are drinkers or heavy drinkers or beer drinkers, but I do have a newfound appreciation for craft beers, and I actually work for a small brewery here. They're getting larger, so I wouldn't call them necessarily that small, but my husband and I actually do a lot of label design for them. So I'll link them down below if you're interested in seeing. All that to say, my next gift idea is for Tavour.com. They do gift bundles for your beer lover, craft beer lover. You can choose like an IPA set or a stout set, or just like a general mixed set. But they also do more local craft brewery subscriptions, so you don't always know what you're gonna get, and it's a good way for someone in your life who enjoys beer, especially craft beers, to test out some other things that are exclusive to Tavour, because I know they do a lot of partnerships. If you don't have people who drink in your life or prefer wine, I know there are so many wine subscriptions. There are also pickle subscriptions, honey subscriptions, barbecue sauce subscriptions, you name it, it's out there. Hot sauce too, that was a good one. My husband and I are big art lovers. Not only do we create art, but we also consume lots of it. Just before Halloween, Ben subscribed to the Criterion collection for a month. You can subscribe just for 1 month, pay $14.99 or so. Don't quote me on that, maybe it changes. We bought it for the month leading up to October 31st, and we watched all of their October releases. Criterion collection is known kind of for their more indie, more artful, kind of new wave stuff, classics, cult classics. You might have seen them out in Blu-ray or DVD in these beautiful box sets. They often produce lots of sets that maybe aren't in print anymore or don't exist in some other form. So like if you know an art lover in your life or someone who really enjoys film and they're sick of everything on Hulu, Netflix, Amazon, you name it, Criterion might be a good try for them. Buy them, maybe a subscription for 1 month. I would recommend researching a little bit to see what is coming every month, because they do the thing that Netflix does and they retire a bunch of titles, introduce a flood of newness every month, so you can see what is coming forth. And especially for the Halloween time, for example, there were a lot of spooky 70s horror slasher films or body horror things that we were personally interested in, so we were like, heck yes, this is our month, and we just ate through so much of it. It was hit or miss, but it was definitely worthwhile. There's also Canopy with a K. Canopy is similar in that respect, not as revered or known as the Criterion collection, but definitely more in the artsy alternative realm where there are a lot of different things out there that people can dig into. So if you haven't heard of Tribute, they do run a service where you can get a bunch of people to video in and capture little clips of video, be stitched up into a beautiful package, and this magical video telegram will be sent to your person of choice. I know we all have the intent of getting together and talking to each other remotely or however we can safely, but Tribute does it all in one place, and I found it to be really useful. You can re-watch your thing, you can re-record as many times as you want. It does cost a little money to do. I don't think I mentioned this the whole video, but none of this is sponsored, by the way. This is just literally coming from stuff that I'm interested in. I'd be very interested in seeing what you're thinking of buying, shopping, or not shopping for this holiday season. I know it's an unprecedented year. Give some ideas down below. I'd love to hear from you on those. If you want something free that's kind of like that, I would recommend going to StoryCorps. They're actually running something for the Thanksgiving period exclusively, thegreatlisten.org. It's a program they're trying to run to encourage family members, instead of gathering in person, which could be very unsafe, they're encouraging you to tag team up with your favorite person, your favorite family member, and record an interview with them, add to the global narrative with those shared memories. I think it's really, really sweet and something that you won't forget. When was the last time you interviewed your parents about something that, you know, they didn't volunteer? Or when was the last time you asked them a question that made them really think about their past? Take that walk down memory lane, but in a fond manner. Obviously, there's a lot that we're just constantly bombarded with. The attention economy is real. We take so many photos of our food. We take so many photos of our pets. When was the last time you went through your albums and slideshows, reminisced with someone? If you're listening to the video or audio portion of this, easily translate this into letter form. Start a pen pal relationship with a family member or a friend. What is the one thing that you admire about me? What is the one thing that I hope we can do together in the future the next time we see each other? What is the one memory that you have of me that you think of every time you hear my name? Those are just 3 very simple examples of what could be a good prompt that you guys agree upon, and then you each write a letter to each other with that prompt, with that answer to the prompt, and you get a letter in the mail, bada boom. Just another way to translate that idea. And of course I leave the best for last. This is basically reminding you that the holiday season is a rush and a flurry of consumerist pizzazz. A season, a whole season, months long of urgency towards gifting. So much emotional effort and gifting etiquette has to come into play before you can enjoy this beautiful holiday season. So just a kind reminder that any kind of time or attention you can give to someone is already a gift. I heard somewhere that attention is love. I forget where that's from. If it's a movie reference, please let me know. If you can show someone that you're giving them the time of day, it means that they're prioritizing you over absolutely everything else in their life. So here are some examples of how you can show someone that they have your full-on undivided attention. I know that declutters are really popular here on YouTube. What better way to spur someone, especially in maybe an older generation or someone who's in a different time in their life, spur them into decluttering mode with a call over FaceTime so you can see a video of them doing this, but maybe have 1 or 3 sessions of a guided declutter with someone that you know. Decide on a method of decluttering. Of course, be kind and mindful if this is even something that your gift receiver wants. But if they've been chomping at the bit but don't know where to start, I think it'd be nice to offer up your time and services to help them in that goal. If you are decluttering a lot and you know that a family member is too, feel free to do like a clothing swap, something that they can participate in so it's not just one-sided. I'll leave you with this one idea that my dad came up with one day just randomly. We were talking about drive-in movies, but he was saying it might be fun to get a group of friends, maybe 3 or 4 together, and watch only parts of a movie. So the idea goes, let's say you have 4 people who are willing to participate in this, and you choose a movie that is, let's say, a suspenseful thriller. Split the movie up into not 4 chunks, but 5 chunks, and then you assign those chunks, those first 4 chunks, to the people in your group, leaving out the last 20 minutes of the film untouched, so nobody watches the ending. Then everybody goes off and they watch their segment of movie simultaneously, and then we all come back together over a Zoom call or something like that, and in order, everybody has to tell the rest of the group what they saw. So they have to set up the scene, get into the character development. It's more fun if they don't take notes, right? Like it's kind of like the game of telephone, but basically you eventually build the entire story collectively. The fun part is that you get to guess and make a hypothesis of what happens at the very end. And then only once you have discussed it fully do you all get to watch the end of the movie together. I thought that was such a fun idea, and instead of, you know, doing a game night or a virtual game night, which I know those are really popular too, this is a good way to just get together over a movie, and you don't have to have an app to do it. People just need to have access to a streaming subscription site or just a way to, you know, watch a movie. So that was my top 10, I guess, my 10 ideas for you this holiday season. You can give this video a thumbs up, subscribe please. I would love for you to stick around and check out more of my videos. You can always support this channel by buying me a coffee, and if you don't know what that means, I've linked it down below. Otherwise, I will see you on my next video. I tried to upload every single Wednesday, especially about beauty, but on Fridays and Sundays I might push out a little bit of more lifestyle and differentiated content. So I'd love to see you here again. Take care, and I will see you on my next video. Adios.
Please handle this side up. You got me upside down. Should only feel this much.